Dad, I found a perfect place for you. That's what my son Daniel told me that February morning. And I, like a fool, I believed him. I believed him because he was my son, because he had been my favorite, because I thought after everything I did for him, he would never betray me. My name is Frank Miller, but everyone just calls me Frank. I'm 73 years old, and I was born right here in Texas. I'm one of those men who got up before the rooster crowed and came home when the stars didn't even want to shine anymore. I worked my whole life with these hands, hands that are wrinkled now, full of old calluses, with veins marked like road maps. But these hands built houses, they built a business, they built a family. So, listen to this story closely, because it's going to stir something up inside you. And when you finish hearing it, you tell me, what would you have done in my place? Oh, and share this with anyone who needs to hear it. And tell me, what city are you listening from? Daniel arrived that morning driving a new truck, a black Ram, all shiny. I was in the yard, watering my Lucy's plants. She died 3 years ago, but I kept caring for her red geraniums as if she were still here to see them bloom. Every morning I talked to them. I told them things. I know it sounds crazy, but it was my way of keeping her close. Dad, we need to talk. He said it getting out of the truck, wearing expensive sunglasses. He had on a designer shirt, one of those that cost what I used to earn in a week on a construction site. What's wrong, son? I asked, turning off the hose. I dried my hands on my pants and walked toward him. He sat in the plastic chair under the mango tree. I sat across from him on the little stool where Lucy used to sit and snap beans. I could see my reflection in those damned sunglasses, but I couldn't see his eyes. A man who won't look you in the eyes when he talks to you. He's hiding something. Dad, you can't keep living here alone. He started with that soft, slow voice, like he was explaining something to a little kid. This house is too big for you. The stairs are dangerous. What if you fall? What if you have a heart attack and nobody finds you until the next day? I'm fine, Daniel. I go up and down those stairs every day without a problem. And I have Linda, my neighbor. She always checks on me. No, Dad, listen to me. He interrupted me, raising his hand like he was stopping traffic. I already spoke with Michael and with Sarah. All three of us agree. I found a perfect place for you. Clean, safe, with nurses 24 hours a day. With people your age, so you won't be alone. You'll be well cared for. You'll have activities, hot food 3 times a day. I felt something get stuck in my throat, like when you swallow a piece of dry tortilla without water. A nursing home? No, Dad. It's a retirement home. It's different. It's modern. It has gardens, cable, TV, even internet, if you need it. It's what's best for you at this point in your life. I stared at him. I tried to find the boy I used to carry on my shoulders when we went to the state fair. The teenager who cried in my arms when he broke up with his first girlfriend. That Veronica who drove him crazy. The man who hugged me crying the day we buried his mother, saying, I don't know what I'm going to do without her, Dad. But I couldn't find him. That Daniel wasn't there anymore. In his place was a stranger with an expensive shirt and a gold watch. Daniel, I don't want to go to any nursing home. This is my house. Everything Retirement home, Dad. And, look, this isn't up for discussion. I already sold the house. Those words hit like a bolt of lightning. I felt the floor move beneath me. What? What did you say? I sold the house. Well, technically the house has been in my name since Mom died. Remember? You gave me power of attorney to handle everything, because you said you were tired of dealing with banks and lawyers, that you didn't understand that paperwork. It was true. I had done that, after Lucy passed. I didn't want to know anything about paperwork, signatures, deeds. Those things gave me a headache. She was always the one who handled the bills, the important papers. When she died, I just wanted to rest. I trusted Daniel. I gave him power over everything, because he was my son, because I thought he would never hurt me. Daniel, this is my house. I lived here with your mother for 45 years. You were born here. Michael was born here. Sarah was born here. All my life's memories are here. The living room where your mom used to knit. The dining room where we all ate together. The room where... Dad. They're just memories. He cut me off. His voice no longer soft. It was starting to sound impatient. You need to think about what's practical, not be sentimental. I sold the house for a good price, a very good price. I'm going to invest that money for you, for your future, for your medical expenses when you need them. I don't need you to invest anything. I have my pension. I have my savings from the business I sold. I have enough to live comfortably here in my house until God calls me. Dad. His voice turned hard as cement. It's already decided. The new owners sign the papers next Tuesday. I've already paid 3 months in advance at the Street Francis retirement home. Everything is arranged. Everything is ready. I stood up from the chair. My legs were shaking, but I stood firm. I'm not going anywhere, Daniel. This is my house, and I'm not. It's not your house anymore, he shouted, standing up too. He took off the glasses, and I could finally see his eyes. They were like black stones, cold, lifeless. Did you hear me, Dad? It's not your house anymore. It's in my name. Legally, it belongs to me. And I already sold it. I already signed the contract. I already received the money. Period. Case closed. We stood there, facing each other. Me, searching for my son in those strange eyes. Him, looking at me like I was a piece of old furniture to be thrown in the trash. Why, Daniel? I could barely whisper. Why are you doing this to me? He sighed deeply, as if I was the one being stubborn, difficult, irrational. I'm not doing anything bad, Dad. I'm taking care of you. You're old. You can't be alone anymore. You need professional supervision. And I have my life, my wife, my kids, my business. I can't be coming over all the time to see if you're okay or if you forgot to take your pills. I've never asked you to come. You don't even visit that often. Exactly. That's why it's better for you to be somewhere you can be watched all the time. He put his hand on my shoulder, a gesture that might have been loving, if not for everything he had just said. I'm coming for you on Monday at 9 in the morning. Pack only what's necessary. Clothes for a week, your documents, your medicines. I'll take care of selling or giving away the rest. The rest? The furniture your mom and I bought, piece by piece? The photos? Your mom's sewing machine? Her things? Dad. They're just things. Old things. You won't have room for any of that at the retirement home. Your room is small. It only fits a bed, a nightstand, a closet. We have to be practical. He put his sunglasses back on. He walked toward his gleaming truck. That truck he probably bought with the down payment from the sale of my house, of my life, of my memories. Before getting in, he turned one last time. Oh, and Dad, don't make a drama out of this, okay? This is what's best for you. You'll see. You'll get used to it. All old people resist at first, but then they even end up liking it. He started the engine. The exhaust let out a loud, arrogant roar. He drove off, kicking up dust on the dirt road. I just stood there in the yard, among Lucy's plants, among the memories of my entire life, watching that black truck disappear around the corner. I didn't cry. Men of my generation, we learned not to cry, but I felt something worse than tears. I felt an emptiness in my chest, a cold hole where the pride of being a father used to be. I sat down slowly in the plastic chair. My legs wouldn't hold me upright. I looked at the garden I tended to every day, the house I painted 3 times with my own hands, the windows I fixed when they broke in the earthquake of '95, the door I varnished every year so it wouldn't rot. None of it was mine anymore. My son had taken it from me. My son, the one I carried in my arms as a baby, the one I taught to ride a bike, the one I carried on my back when he got pneumonia and we had no money for a taxi to the hospital, the one whose college I paid for by selling the land my father had left me. That son had just stabbed me in the back. And the worst part is, he did it while looking me in the eyes. Well, when he finally took off the glasses, I stayed sitting there. I don't know for how long. The sun moved across the sky, The shadows from the mango tree shifted. Linda, my neighbor, passed by, sweeping her sidewalk, and waved at me. I just lifted my hand. I didn't have the voice to answer. When it started to get dark, I stood up. I went into the house. Everything was silent. That silence that had been there since Lucy left, and now it felt even heavier. I sat in the armchair in the living room, the same one Lucy used to sit in to knit. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in 3 years, since I buried her, I really spoke to her. Lucy, I said in a low voice, your son betrayed us, both of us. You, who aren't here anymore, and me, who's still here. I don't know what to do, honey. I don't know what to do. The silence was the only answer. A silence that tasted like defeat. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed sitting in the living room armchair until dawn, watching the shadows move on the walls, listening to the sounds of the house, those creaks I knew by heart, the wall clock Lucy bought at the craft market, the refrigerator that made that little noise every 2 hours, the neighbor's dog that barked at 3 in the morning. All those sounds. I wouldn't be hearing them much longer. When the sun started to come through the window, I got up. My knees ached, my back ached, but my chest ached more. The kind of pain pills don't fix. I went to the kitchen. I put water on to heat for coffee. I got out the jar of instant coffee. Lucy always said instant coffee was garbage. That real coffee was made in the old percolator. But since she left, I just didn't feel like doing things the old way. I sat at the kitchen table with my steaming mug. That table where we ate breakfast for so many years. Where the kids did their homework while Lucy cooked. Where we celebrated birthdays, Christmases, holidays. I looked around. The tiles Lucy picked, white with blue flowers. The pots hanging on the wall. The old stove that still worked fine. The plastic tablecloth with pictures of fruit. All of that was going to disappear too. I took a sip of coffee. It was bitter. It burned my tongue. But I didn't care. I thought about Daniel. About his face when he told me he'd already sold the house. His cold eyes. That new truck. That probably cost more than I earned in an entire year of work. When did he become like this? I tried to remember. I searched my memory for the exact moment my son changed. When he stopped being the Daniel I knew. Maybe it was when he married that woman. Gabriella, a city woman. Educated, from a wealthy family. I remember the wedding. It was in an elegant ballroom. I felt out of place in my borrowed suit. Lucy made a huge effort to buy a new dress. Daniel barely spoke to us that day. He was busy with the important guests. Or maybe it was before that, when he went to study in Chicago. When he came back, talking different, dressing different, looking at our neighborhood like it was something he was ashamed of. Or maybe he was always like this, and I just didn't want to see it. I finished the coffee. I stared at the bottom of the mug, the clumps of instant coffee that didn't dissolve. I stood up. I had to do something. I couldn't just sit here waiting for Monday, waiting for Daniel to come for me like someone picking up the trash. I went up the stairs. Each step reminded me of what Daniel had said. The stairs are dangerous. As if I were an invalid. As if I hadn't gone up and down these stairs thousands of times in 45 years. I went into the room that had been mine and Lucy's. The bed still had the sheets she picked out. Purple flowers. She said they reminded her of the jacaranda trees. The dresser with its mirror. Her brushes. Still there. Her hand cream. Her rosary. Hanging on the corner. I hadn't touched anything since she died. I opened the closet. Her dresses were there. They smelled like her. Like that cheap lavender perfume she loved. I ran my hand over the fabrics. I remembered every dress. The blue one she wore to Sarah's wedding. The black one from her mother's funeral. The floral one she wore to church on Sundays. Daniel said to pack only what was necessary, that he would sell or give away the rest. Lucy's dresses, her shoes, her things. It would all end up in the hands of strangers, or in the trash. I closed the closet. I couldn't look anymore. I went downstairs again. I went to the living room. I stood in front of the shelf where the photos were. Photos of a whole life. My wedding day. Lucy in her white dress. Her cousin loaned it to her. Me in my only suit, skinny as a rail. with that mustache I thought made me look older. The kids as babies. Michael in Lucy's arms. Sarah learning to walk. Daniel at his first communion, with his white suit and that crooked-toothed smile. Photos of birthdays, of trips to the lake, of Christmases, of graduations. All of that meant nothing to Daniel. I picked up a photo. It was of Daniel when he was about 10. We were at the park. I was carrying him on my shoulders. We were both laughing. Him with a popsicle in his hand. Me with my plaid shirt that I liked so much. I remembered that day. It had been a Sunday. I had worked all week. I was tired. But Daniel begged me to take him to the park. "Come on, Dad, take me out." And I took him. Because he was my son. Because seeing him happy made me happy. Was that boy in the photo the same man who told me yesterday that he had sold my house? It couldn't be. I put the photo back. I sat down in the armchair again. Outside, life went on. Linda, my neighbor, going to the market. Stephen, walking with his cane. Kids running to school. Life was normal for everyone, except for me. I looked at the phone. It was on the little table. An old phone. The kind nobody really uses anymore. Lucy had bought it years ago. She said it was important to have a phone in the house. Just in case. I thought about calling Michael. He lived in Houston, worked in a factory. He hadn't been home in years. He always said he couldn't. The work, the papers, the money. But he called me often, asked how I was, sent me dollars for Christmas. Did Michael know what Daniel was planning to do? Daniel said he had spoken with him and Sarah, that they all agreed. Was that true? I thought about calling Sarah. She lived here in the city, married to a teacher. They had 2 daughters. Sarah did come to see me. Not much. But she came. She brought me tamales. She helped me clean the house. She took me to the doctor when I had an appointment. Did Sarah also think I should be in a nursing home? I didn't call them. I didn't want to hear their voices telling me Daniel was right, that it was for the best, that I was too old to live alone. The phone rang. It startled me. I watched it ring and ring. I answered, "Hello? Dad, it's me, Sarah." Her voice sounded strange, tight. "Hi, honey." "Dad." Daniel called me. He told me about the retirement home. "Oh, Dad, I didn't know he was going to sell the house, I swear. He told me he was just going to look at options, that he was going to talk to you first, that he was going to convince you slowly. I didn't know he had already signed papers. I felt something in my chest, a little bit of relief, so Sarah wasn't in on it. And Michael? Michael didn't know either. I told Daniel to call him, to explain. But you know how your brother is. He's far away. He doesn't really know how things are here. So it's not true that you all agreed." "No, Dad, I don't agree, but—" She was quiet for a moment. "But legally, Daniel can do whatever he wants. The house is in his name. The power of attorney you gave him is very broad. It says he can make decisions for you. But he shouldn't be able to sell my house without asking me." "He shouldn't, Dad. But he can. I went to see a lawyer friend of my husband's. He told me that if the house is in Daniel's name and you sign that power of attorney, there's not much we can do." I felt the floor open up beneath me. "There's nothing I can do?" Sarah sighed. I heard her crying. "Dad, I can talk to Daniel. I can tell him to wait, to not take you yet, to look for another solution. Maybe you can come live with me for a while." "While?" "No, honey. You have your small house, your daughters, your husband. I'm not going to be a burden to you too." "You're not a burden, Dad." "Yes, I am. To Daniel. I'm clearly a burden. Daniel is he's a—" She didn't finish the sentence, but I knew what she wanted to say. "It's okay, Sarah. Don't worry. I'll be fine." "Dad, I'm going to come see you. I'll come by this afternoon. We'll talk. We'll find something. Daniel can't just do this. Whatever you want, honey." We hung up. I held the phone in my hand. Sarah was coming. She was going to try to help. But she had said it herself. Legally, Daniel could do whatever he wanted. I had given him that power. I had walked right into this trap myself. I looked at the house. My house. That wasn't mine anymore. And for the first time in many years, I felt old. An old man who made a mistake. A mistake that was going to cost me everything. Sarah arrived around 4 in the afternoon. She brought a bag of pastries and a thermos of coffee. She had always been like that, ever since she was little. When she came to visit, she always brought something, as if she could fix things with food. "Hi, Dad," she said, giving me a kiss on the cheek. Her eyes were red. You could tell she'd been crying on the way over. "Come in, honey." I opened the door. We went into the living room. She left the things on the table and sat on the armchair where her mom always used to sit. I sat in mine. "Dad, I talked to Daniel," she started. "I told him this isn't right, that he can't just sell the house like that, that you're his father, that you deserve respect." Her voice broke. "He told me to mind my own business, that he knows what he's doing, that you can't take care of yourself anymore and someone has to make decisions for you. That's what he said." I felt the blood rush to my head. That, and worse. He told me if I was so worried about you, I should take you to live with me, that I should take charge, that he had already done enough for you all these years. Sarah wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "I told him he hasn't done anything for you, that I'm the one who comes to see you, the one who takes you to the doctor, the one who brings you food when you're sick." He got mad. He hung up on me. I was quiet. I didn't know what to say. Seeing my daughter cry because of her brother was breaking my heart. "Dad?" I talked to Hector. Hector was her husband. "I told him I want you to come live with us." He agrees. "The girls, too. We can rearrange the girls' room. They can share. And you can have the other room. It's not big, but—" "No, honey. I already told you no. You live in a small apartment. You barely fit as it is. I'm not going to come and make things crowded. Besides, it's too late. Daniel already sold the house. He already paid the nursing home. It's all done. Retirement home, Dad." "Not nursing home," she corrected me gently, as if the name made it any less horrible. "It's the same thing, Sarah. It's a place where they put old people who are in the way, where they put them to forget about them." I stood up. I couldn't sit still. I walked to the window. Outside. Life went on as normal. Cars passing. People walking. The world spinning as if nothing was wrong. Sarah stood up too. She came over to me. She put her hand on my shoulder. "Dad, I'm still going to come see you, I promise. Every week. I'll go. I'll bring you whatever you need. I'm not going to abandon you." "I know, honey. You've never abandoned me." I hugged her. She started crying on my chest, just like when she was a little girl, and fell down playing. I stroked her hair. "Don't cry. It's not your fault. None of this is your fault. But I feel so helpless, Dad. I wish I could do something, but I can't. The law is on his side." The lawyer told me clearly, "Daniel has all the papers. He has the power of attorney. He has the house in his name. We can't do anything." We stayed like that for a while, hugging, her crying. Me, fighting back the urge to cry too, because men my age don't cry, or so we were taught. When she calmed down a bit, we sat down again. She poured the coffee, took out the pastries, my favorites. We ate in silence. The coffee was good, the pastries too, but it tasted like goodbye. "Have you packed anything?" she asked me. "No, I don't know what to pack. Daniel said only what's necessary. Clothes for a week, documents, medicines, like I'm going on vacation, and not going to be stuck there for who knows how long. I'll help you pack if you want. We can see what you should take. Maybe some photos, something of Mom's, so you don't feel so alone. Do you think they'll let me have photos there?" "Of course, Dad. It's your room. You can decorate it however you want. Well, as much as you can." We finished the coffee. Sarah stood up. "I'm going to help you pack. Come on. Let's go upstairs. We'll get your clothes. See what else you need." We went up the stairs together. She went first. Me behind her. Slowly. Like I did everything lately. Slowly. We went into the room. Sarah opened the closet. She started taking out clothes. Shirts, pants, socks. She put them on the bed. Clothes Lucy had bought me. Clothes I had worn for years. Clothes with history. "Where's your suitcase, Dad? On top of the wardrobe?" That blue one? Sarah reached up, pulled the suitcase down. It was dusty. We hadn't used it in years. The last time was when we went to Florida to visit a cousin. Lucy was still alive. We went on a bus, spent a week there. We ate fish, went to the beach. Lucy collected seashells. She brought them home. They're still in a basket in the kitchen. Sarah started folding the clothes, putting them in the suitcase. She did it carefully, like her mom taught her. Each item folded neatly, everything in order. What shoes are you taking? The black ones, the brown ones. That's all I need. She put them in a bag, put them in the suitcase. Where are your medicines? In the bathroom, in the medicine cabinet. She went to get them, brought them back in a bag. Pills for blood pressure, for cholesterol, for sugar. Pills that kept me alive, but sometimes made me wonder why I should stay alive, if everything was ending. Sarah kept packing. She took documents out of a drawer. My birth certificate, my ID, my insurance card. She put them in an envelope. Photos? She asked, looking at me. Grab whichever ones you want. She went downstairs. I just stood there, watching the suitcase fill up, watching my life get reduced to a dusty blue suitcase. Sarah came back with a handful of photos, the ones from the shelf in the living room. She put them carefully in the envelope with the documents. Something of Mom's? I opened the drawer of Lucy's dresser. I took out her rosary, the one she used every day, the beads worn smooth from so much prayer. I gave it to Sarah. She packed it with the photos. That's it, Dad. You have everything you need. I looked at the suitcase. That was it. 73 years of life, reduced to a suitcase that wasn't even full. Sarah closed the suitcase. She lifted it off the bed, left it by the door. I'll come by early on Monday, before Daniel, to be with you when he arrives. Okay? Okay, honey. We went downstairs. Sarah gathered her things. The thermos, the bag of pastries we didn't finish. At the door, she hugged me again. I love you, Dad, so much. Don't forget that. I love you too, honey. She left. I watched her walk to her old car. Start it. Drive away. The house was silent again. That silence that got heavier and heavier. 3 days until Monday. 3 days until Daniel came for me. 3 days until he took me out of my house, like taking out the trash on collection day. I sat in the armchair. I looked around. The walls I painted. The furniture I bought with Lucy, dollar by dollar. The floor I laid with my own hands. All of it was going to belong to someone else. People who didn't know the stories of this house, who didn't know how much sweat and work went into every single thing. And I was going to be in a tiny room in a retirement home, with people I didn't know, eating food that wasn't from my home, sleeping in a bed that wasn't mine, waiting to die. I spent Saturday walking through the house, from room to room, touching the walls, looking at every corner, trying to burn it all into my memory, because I knew that after I left, I would probably never come back in here again. I went to the kitchen, made myself a coffee, sat at the table. From there, I could see the yard, the mango tree I planted when Michael was born. That tree was 50 years old now. It grew sweet, big, juicy mangoes. Lucy used to make mango water, made popsicles for the grandkids. Daniel used to climb that tree when he was a boy. He'd spend hours up there, reading his comic books. Did Daniel remember that tree? Did he remember the afternoons he spent up there? Probably not. To him, they were just old, worthless memories, things that could be sold or thrown away. I went out to the yard. I touched the trunk of the tree, the rough bark, the marks that time had left on it, just like me, full of scars, but still standing, still bearing fruit. Forgive me, old friend, I said to the tree. I'm leaving you alone. I hope the new owners take care of you. Although, I doubt it. I laughed to myself. I was talking to a tree. I really was going crazy. I went back in the house, went up the stairs again. I went into Sarah's room. I hadn't been in there for years, not since she got married and left. The room was empty. Only the bed was left. The walls had marks from the posters she used to hang. Music groups I don't even remember the names of. This room had been her world, her space. Now it was just an empty, dusty room. I went to Michael's room. I hadn't been in there in a long time either. It was the same. Empty. Sad. Michael left more than 20 years ago. He went to find the American dream. He found it, working 12 hours a day in a factory. He earned in dollars, but he lost everything else. His language, his homeland, his family. I talked to him on the phone every month. He always said he was coming to visit soon. He never came. There was always something. The work, the papers, the money. When Lucy died, he didn't come either. He sent money for the funeral, as if money could replace his presence. Finally, I went to Daniel's room, the biggest of the three, because he was the favorite. Because Lucy said he was the youngest and needed more space. We painted the walls blue for him. We put up shelves for his soccer trophies. We bought him a big desk so he could study. Everything we did for him, everything we gave him. And this is how he repaid me. I sat on the floor of the empty room. My knees popped. I wasn't the same man who built this house. Brick by brick. I wasn't the one who used to carry bags of cement on my shoulder, like it was nothing. Now it was hard for me to even sit on the floor. I stayed there. I don't know how long. Thinking. Remembering. Trying to understand at what point everything went to hell. At what point my son decided I was a burden and not his father. I heard a knock on the door downstairs. I got up with difficulty, holding onto the wall. I went down the stairs slowly. It was Stephen, my neighbor, my friend of 30 years. "Frank, are you okay? You look terrible, buddy," he said when I opened the door. Stephen was my age, but he looked better than me. Stood up straighter, stronger. Of course. He didn't have kids betraying him. "Come in, Stephen. Come in." We went into the living room. He sat in the guest chair. I sat in mine. "Sarah came to see me yesterday," he said. "She told me what Daniel did." "I can't believe it, Frank. I just can't believe it." "Well, believe it. On Monday. He's kicking me out. But this is your house. He can't just sell it like that." "He can. It's in his name. I gave him power of attorney over everything. I was an idiot, Stephen. An idiot who trusted his son." Stephen shook his head. "And there's no way to stop this?" "I was a lawyer, Frank. Even though I'm retired, something must be done." Sarah went to a lawyer. He told her there's nothing to do. The papers are in order. Daniel has every legal right. Legal right? Yes. But moral right? No. This isn't right. You don't do this to a father. Well, he did it. And here I am, packed and ready to go. Stephen was quiet for a moment. I saw him thinking. I knew that look. I'd seen it many times when he was solving problems for the neighbors, when he gave legal advice at the corner store. It was his lawyer face. "Frank, let me look at the papers. The power of attorney you signed. The deeds. Everything. Maybe I can find something. Some mistake. Some irregularity. It's all signed, Stephen. He already sold the house. Already got the money. But let me check anyway. Please, you lose nothing by letting me look at the documents." I didn't really want to. I didn't have any hope, but Stephen was my friend. If he wanted to help, let him try. They're in the drawer of the cabinet, the brown folder. He got up, went for the folder. He opened it right there on the living room table. Took out his glasses, the ones he used for reading. He started to review the papers. I watched him read, turn the pages, frown, make those noises people make when they're reading complicated things. "When did you sign this?" he asked, pointing to a paper. 3 years ago, when Lucy died, Daniel told me it was to make things easier, so I wouldn't have to go to the bank, the notary, and those places. That he would take care of everything. And you believed him. He's my son. Why wouldn't I believe him? Stephen kept reading. It took him about half an hour. I just watched him. I didn't know what he was looking for. I didn't know if he would find anything. Finally, he closed the folder. He took off his glasses. He looked at me with a serious face. "Frank, this power of attorney is very broad. Too broad. You gave Daniel total control over everything. Your house, your accounts, your decision. You practically gave him your life. I know. I realize that now. Too late, but I realize it. But there's something strange here. He opened the folder again, took out a paper. Look, the deed to the house. It says the house was transferred to Daniel's name 3 years ago. But there's a clause, a life estate clause. What's that? It means that even though the house is in Daniel's name, you have the right to live here until you die. It's your right. No one can kick you out, not even the legal owner of the property. I felt something in my chest, like a spark, like when you're trying to light a damp match and it finally catches. Are you sure? Absolutely sure. It's right here, in the deed. Registered with a notary. It's legal. It's binding. But Daniel already sold the house. It doesn't matter. The life estate passes to the new owner. You have the right to stay here. Daniel cannot kick you out. And if he already sold the house without mentioning this to the buyers, he's in very big legal trouble. It could be fraud, concealment. The buyers can sue. They can cancel the sale. The spark became a fire. A small fire, but a fire nonetheless. So, I don't have to leave? You don't have to leave. What's more, I'm going to call the notary who drew up this deed. I'm going to confirm everything. But Frank, this changes everything. Daniel lied to you. Or he didn't read the papers. Or he thought you would never find out. I just sat there, processing what I had just heard. There was a way out. There was a way to fight. For the first time in days, I felt like not all was lost. Stephen left, promising he would talk to the notary first thing Monday morning, that he would confirm everything, that I shouldn't worry. But I was worried, because it was one thing to have a piece of paper that said I had rights, and it was a very different thing to confront Daniel, my own son. I didn't sleep well that night either. I tossed and turned, thinking about what Stephen had discovered, that life estate clause. Lucy had insisted on putting it in. I remembered now. When we went to the notary to fix the papers after she got sick, she told the lawyer, I want my husband to be able to live in this house until he dies. I don't care whose name is on it. The notary wrote it down. We put it in the deed. Daniel signed. He agreed. Or he just signed without reading. Or he read it and thought I would never find out. Or he just didn't give a damn, because he was going to do what he wanted anyway. I don't know which was worse. Sunday dawned cloudy, as if even the sky knew a storm was coming. I got up early, took a shower, put on clean clothes. A plaid shirt Lucy gave me for my birthday 5 years ago. A pair of dress pants I hardly ever wore. If I was going to face Daniel, I was going to do it well dressed. With dignity. I went down to the kitchen, made coffee, some scrambled eggs, toast. I ate slowly, savoring every bite, because I didn't know if it would be my last peaceful meal, or the first of many more in my own home. Around 10 in the morning, there was a knock. It was Sarah. Dad, I came to be with you. I don't want you to be alone when Daniel arrives, she said, coming in. She looked like she hadn't slept well either. Puffy eyes, hair pulled back in a hurry. Thanks, honey. But things aren't going to happen the way you think. What do you mean? I told her what Stephen had found. The clause. The life estate. Her eyes got wider and wider as I spoke. Is that true, Dad? It's really in the papers? That's what Stephen says. And he was a lawyer. He knows about these things. Then you don't have to leave. Daniel can't kick you out. He can't. But he's coming anyway. And I have to tell him. Sarah sat on the armchair. She looked confused, part relieved, part worried. How do you think he'll react? I don't know, honey. But however he reacts, I have to face him. I have to stop him. I've had enough of him doing whatever he wants with me. We waited. Sarah went to make fresh coffee. I sat in the living room, watching the wall clock, listening to the tick-tock. With every second that passed, I felt my heart beat stronger. At 11:30, he arrived. We heard the truck park outside, the door slam, the footsteps on the gravel path. The doorbell rang. Sarah looked at me. Want me to get it? No, I'll get it. I stood up, walked to the door, took a deep breath, opened it. There was Daniel, with his sunglasses, his expensive shirt, his gold watch, his face like he was here to run an annoying errand. "Good morning, Dad. I'm here for you. Are you ready?" He spoke to me like I was a little kid, with that sweet voice that made me angrier than if he had yelled. "I'm not going anywhere, Daniel." He took off his glasses, looked at me. He's confused. "What do you mean? We agreed on today." "I know what we agreed, but I changed my mind. I'm not going. I'm staying in my house." "Dad," I already explained, "this isn't your house anymore. I sold it." "Then the new owners have a problem, because I have a life estate. I can live here until I die. It's in the deed. You signed it yourself." Daniel's face changed. From confusion to surprise. From surprise to anger. "Who told you that?" "It doesn't matter who told me. What matters is that it's true. Your mother put it in the papers when we did the transfer. You signed it. You agreed to it." "Dad, that was 3 years ago. Things changed. You changed. You can't." "I haven't changed at all. I'm still the same. The one who changed was you. The one who became an ungrateful son was you." Daniel clenched his jaw. He walked into the house without an invitation. Sarah was standing in the living room entrance. "Oh, I see. You told him, didn't you?" he said to Sarah, with venom in his voice. "You stuck your nose where it doesn't belong." "I didn't tell him anything," Sarah answered firmly. "But even if I had, what's the problem? That Dad knows his rights? That he knows you were trying to trick him?" "I wasn't tricking him. I was taking care of him." "You two don't understand. He can't be alone anymore. He forgets things. He doesn't take his medicine right. Any day he's going to fall and—" "Those are just excuses," I interrupted him. "The truth is, you wanted my house. You wanted to sell it, keep the money, and get me out of the way so I wouldn't be a bother." "Keep the money, Dad? I was going to invest that money for you, for your expenses." "Don't lie to me, Daniel. If it was for me, you would have given it to me. But you wanted it for you, for your luxuries, for your new truck, for your rich life." Daniel took a step toward me. Sarah got between us. "Don't you get near him," she told her brother. "Move, Sarah. This is between me and my dad." "I'm not moving. And this isn't just between you two. It's about family, and you are disrespecting our father." "Disrespecting him? I'm the only one who's taken care of him, the only one who's come to see him, to help him with his things." "Help him? You call selling his house without telling him helping?" "The house is mine. It's in my name." "But he has the right to live here." Sarah was shouting now too. "Enough!" I shouted, louder than both of them. They went silent. They looked at me. "Enough, Daniel. I'm going to tell you this one time. I am not leaving. I am staying in my house. If you sold the house, that's your problem. You fix it. Give the money back. Cancel the sale. Do whatever you have to do. But I am not moving from here." Daniel looked at me with pure hatred, a hatred I had never seen in his eyes, not even when he was a kid, and I scolded him. "You know what, Dad? Fine. Do whatever you want. Stay in your damn old house. But don't come looking for me when you need something. Don't call me. Don't ask me for help. As far as I'm concerned, you no longer have a son. If that's how you want it, fine. Because the son I raised wouldn't have done what you did." Daniel turned around, walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned one last time. "This isn't over. I'm going to talk to my lawyer. I'm going to find a way to get you out of here. You'll see." He left. The truck started with a roar. He sped off, making noise, leaving smoke. I just stood there. Sarah hugged me. "You did good, Dad. You did real good." But I didn't feel good. I felt empty. I had just lost my son. Well, my son had already lost me a long time ago. I had just realized it. I sat in the armchair. Sarah sat next to me. "What now, Dad?" "I don't know, honey. I don't know." But I knew one thing. Daniel was going to make good on his threat. He was going to try and get me out of here, and I had to be ready to fight. The next few days were strange, like living in a house that didn't feel like home anymore. I knew Daniel was planning something. I could feel it. Sarah came to see me every day. Sometimes she stayed for hours. She brought me food. She kept me company. But I could tell she was worried too. Daniel won't answer my calls, she told me one day. I've called him like 20 times. Nothing. He blocked me. Let him. If that's how he wants to be, so be it. But it wasn't that easy. As much as I wanted to forget about Daniel, he was my son. And even though he had betrayed me, a part of me still hoped he would come to his senses. That he would come and ask for forgiveness. That things would go back to how they were. What a fool I was. On Wednesday, Stephen came to see me. He looked worried. Frank, we need to talk. What's wrong? I spoke with the notary. He confirmed everything. The life estate is real. It's valid. But there's a problem. My stomach tightened. What problem? Daniel hired a lawyer. A good lawyer. Expensive. They're going to try to declare you mentally incompetent. What? If a judge determines you're no longer in your right mind, that you can't make decisions for yourself, they can take away the life estate. They can name him as your legal guardian, and then he can do whatever he wants, including putting you in a nursing home against your will. I felt the floor move. But I'm fine. I'm perfectly sane. I know that. We all know that. But Daniel's going to get doctors. He's going to present evidence that you forget things, that you can't take care of yourself. He's going to paint a picture where you're a senile old man who needs to be put away. That's a lie. It's all a lie. I know, Frank. But in court, the truth doesn't always win. Sometimes the person with the better lawyer wins. And Daniel has money to pay for the best. I sat down. My legs wouldn't hold me. So, what do I do? You need a lawyer, too. Someone to defend you, to present evidence that you're fine. Psychological evaluations. Testimony from people who know you. We have to prepare to fight this. And how much does a lawyer like that cost? Stephen was quiet. I already knew the answer. More than I had. My pension barely covered my living expenses. The savings I had from the business weren't much. Daniel knew that. That's why he was playing this card. Because he knew I couldn't afford to fight. I can help you with some things, Stephen said. But you need formal representation. Someone to go to the hearings. To file the documents. I don't have money for that, Stephen. Then get a public defender. Talk to the legal aid office. A public defender against Daniel's expensive lawyer. I already knew how that would end. Stephen left, giving me more information. Forms I had to fill out, places I had to go. I felt lost. My whole life. I had been a man of physical labor, of my hands, not of papers and forms and courtrooms. That night, I called Michael. I needed to talk to someone. Sarah already had enough on her plate. I didn't want to burden her more. Dad, are you okay? Michael answered. He always asked the same thing. No, son, I'm not okay. I told him everything. About Daniel, the house, the life estate, the threat of being declared incompetent. Michael listened in silence. He just made noises every now and then, so I knew he was still there. When I finished, he sighed. Dad, I didn't know things were this bad. Daniel called me a few weeks ago. He told me he was going to put you in a retirement home, that it was for the best. I believed him. I thought it was a good idea. You thought that too. Dad, forgive me. I'm not there. I don't know how things really are. I only know what Daniel tells me. And he's always been convincing. He's a liar, Michael. He sold my house without telling me. He wants to put me away to keep everything. I know, Sarah told me. Dad, I want to help you. I really do. But I'm far away. And I don't have much money. I'm working 2 jobs to support my family. I can't. I'm not asking for money, son. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted you to know the truth. And what are you going to do? Fight? As long as I have strength, I'm going to fight. Dad, be careful. When Daniel gets stubborn, he's dangerous. He's always been that way. Since he was a kid. You know that. It was true. Daniel was a stubborn kid. When he wanted something, he didn't stop until he got it. He'd cry, scream, throw tantrums. And Lucy. She always gave him what he wanted. He's the youngest, she'd say. Leave him be. I'd tell her she was spoiling him. She'd say I was too hard on him. In the end, Daniel always won. And now, Daniel was a man, with power, with money, with lawyers, and he still wanted to win, no matter who he had to crush. I'll be careful, Michael. Thanks for listening. Dad, if you need anything, anything at all, call me. I'll find a way to help. Okay, son. Take care. I hung up. I held the phone, watching the screen go dark. I had 2 children who loved me, Sarah and Michael. But Sarah could barely handle her own life, and Michael was thousands of miles away. And I had 1 son who hated me, who wanted to destroy me, who had the power to do it. I went to the kitchen, opened the pantry, searched in the back. There it was, the bottle of tequila they gave me at my retirement. I'd never opened it. Lucy said we should save it for a special occasion. Well, this was the occasion, a specially screwed up occasion, but an occasion nonetheless. I opened the bottle, poured a shot. I downed it in 1 gulp. It burned. It tasted bitter, but the warmth it left in my chest felt good. I poured another, and another. I wasn't a drinking man, but tonight I needed something to help me sleep, something to make me forget, even for a few hours. I finished half the bottle. I stumbled to bed. I fell on top of the covers. The room was spinning. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I slept without dreaming. I woke up with a terrible headache. My mouth tasted like metal. My stomach was churning. I dragged myself to the bathroom. I saw myself in the mirror, an old man with red eyes, hair sticking up, unshaven. I looked pathetic. Is this what you want to be? I said to myself in the mirror. A drunk old man who gives up? Lucy would have smacked me on the head. She always said problems aren't solved with a bottle, that you have to face them with a clear head and a strong heart. I took a cold shower. I shaved. I put on clean clothes. I went down to the kitchen and made a strong coffee, with 2 aspirins. I needed to think clearly. Daniel had a lawyer. He had money. He had a plan. What did I have? A house I could legally live in, but that could be taken away if I was declared incompetent. A pension that was barely enough. 2 kids who loved me but couldn't really help. But I had something else. I had 73 years of experience, of fighting life, of falling down and getting up 1,000 times. Daniel thought that because I was old, I was stupid. Well, I was going to show him he was wrong. I grabbed a pen and paper. Lucy always made lists when she had problems. She said writing things down helped you see them more clearly. I started writing. Things Daniel did wrong, I wrote at the top. 1. Sold the house without informing the buyers about the life estate. That's fraud. 2. Pressured me to sign papers right after Lucy died and I was grieving. That could be duress. 3. Kept the money from the sale. Money that, according to him, was for my expenses. But he never showed me where he invested it. As I wrote, I remembered more things that didn't seem important at the time, but made sense now. About 6 months ago, Daniel asked me to sign some papers. He said it was to renew my health insurance. I signed without reading. I trusted him. What did I really sign? More powers? Authorization to manage my accounts? I also remembered that after Lucy died, Daniel insisted I give him access to my bank account to help you with the bills, Dad, so you don't have to go to the bank. I agreed. I gave him my card, my PIN, everything. How much money had he taken out of there? I needed to know. I finished my coffee. I got dressed. I walked out of the house. I walked to the bank. It was 10 blocks away. I used to walk it with no problem. Now it was difficult. My knees hurt. I got tired. But I made it. I went in. There was a line. I waited for about half an hour. Finally, it was my turn. Good morning. I need to see my account activity for the last 3 years, I told the girl at the counter. Do you have your statement? No, that's why I'm here. I haven't received a statement in a long time. Let me see. She typed on her computer. She frowned. Sir, your account is registered to receive e-statements at this email address. She showed me the screen. It was an email I didn't recognize. Probably Daniel's. That's not my email. I don't have an email address. Would you like to change it? Yes. And I also want to change my PIN, and I want to make sure no one else has access to my account. The girl looked at me with pity. She probably saw a lot of cases like mine. Old people whose kids were stealing from them, little by little. I need you to fill out these forms. She gave me papers. I filled them out. It took time, but I filled them out, letter by letter, with my shaky but firm hand. When I finished, she made changes on the computer. She gave me a paper. Here is the summary of your transactions for the last 3 years, sir. I grabbed it. I started reading. With every line I read, I felt my blood boil. Withdrawals. Lots of withdrawals. $500, $1,000, $2,000, almost every month. In 3 years, Daniel had taken over $40,000 from my account. $40,000 that were mine, that I had saved by working, that were for my old age, for my expenses, for emergencies. Daniel had stolen from me. There was no other word for it. He had stolen from me while telling me he was taking care of me. Sir, are you okay? The girl asked. Yes, thank you. I need a copy of this. She gave me 3 copies. I folded them, put them in my pocket. I walked out of the bank. The sun was beating down, but I didn't feel it. I only felt rage. A cold, calculating rage. I walked to Stephen's house. I knocked. He opened the door. Frank, what's wrong? You look. I have evidence. Daniel robbed me. I have the bank papers. Stephen's eyes went wide. Come on, quick. We went inside. I showed him the papers. He read them carefully, with his lawyer face. This is bad, Frank. Very bad. If he only had access to your account to help with bills, but he kept the money for personal use. That's embezzlement. It's a crime. Can I sue him? You can, and you should. This changes everything. This isn't just a civil problem about a life estate anymore. This is criminal. He could go to jail. I felt something in my chest. It wasn't joy. It was justice. Pure, hard justice. What do I have to do? First, we go to a criminal lawyer, someone who knows these cases. Second, we file a formal complaint with the district attorney. Third, we present all this evidence, the bank statements, the withdrawals, everything. And will that stop his plan to declare me incompetent? More than that. When a judge sees that Daniel is stealing from you, manipulating you, using his power for his own benefit, there is no way they will grant him guardianship. On the contrary, they'll investigate him. For the first time in weeks, I smiled. A small but real smile. Do you know a criminal lawyer? I know the best. His name is Mr. Morales. He's tough. He doesn't mess around. And he hates kids who abuse their parents. He had a similar case years ago. He won. How much does he charge? Let me talk to him. I'll tell him your situation. See if we can work something out. Stephen took out his phone. He dialed. He spoke to someone. Explained my case. He listened. He nodded. He says he can see you tomorrow at 10 in the morning. At his office. I'll be there. I left Stephen's house with a firmer step, with a clearer head, with a purpose. Daniel wanted to play dirty. Well, we were both going to play dirty, but I had something he didn't. I had the truth on my side, and the truth, sooner or later, always wins. The next day, I got up early. I dressed well, dress pants, a white shirt, the shoes I wore to church. If I was going to see a lawyer, I was going to look presentable, with dignity. Stephen picked me up at 9:30. We went in his old car, but it ran well. Mr. Morales' office was downtown, in an old but grand building, the kind with history. We went up to the 3rd floor. The secretary greeted us. She showed us into an office with bookshelves full of thick books. Legal codes, laws, things I didn't understand, but they gave me confidence. Mr. Morales was a man of about 50. Gray hair, dark suit, a serious face, but kind eyes. He shook my hand firmly. Mr. Miller, a pleasure. Stephen told me about your situation. Let me tell you, Cases like yours make my blood boil. Children who abuse their parents are the worst of the worst. I liked him immediately. We sat down. I took out all the papers I had brought. The bank statements, the copies of the deeds, the power of attorney, everything. The lawyer reviewed them calmly, reading every line, making notes in a notebook. After about 20 minutes, he looked up. Mr. Miller, there are several crimes here. Fraud, breach of trust, possible forgery. If he had you sign documents by misleading you. This is serious. Your son could face jail time. I know, I said, and I meant it. Part of me, the part that was still a father, felt pain, thinking of Daniel in jail. But the other part, the part that had been betrayed, robbed, humiliated, wanted justice. Are you willing to see this through to the end? Because once we file the complaint, there's no going back. Your son will know it was you. He will try to pressure you, to make you feel guilty. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Lucy, about how she always said family was the most important thing, but she also said that respect is earned. And Daniel had lost my respect completely. I'm prepared. Do what you have to do. The lawyer nodded. Very well. We'll do this in steps. First, today, we go to the district attorney's office. We file the formal complaint. We present all this evidence. Second, we request protective measures so he can no longer access your accounts or make moves with your properties. Third, when he files his incompetence lawsuit against you, we countersue with this. The judge will see who is really in the wrong. And how much is this all going to cost me? The lawyer leaned back in his chair. Stephen told me about your financial situation. Normally, I charge $15,000 for a case like this. But I'm going to make an exception. You'll pay me $5,000, $2,000 now, and $3,000 when we win. Because we are going to win. $5,000? It was money I had, from what was left of my savings, after what Daniel stole. But if it bought me justice, it was worth every penny. I accept. He took out a contract. We signed it. I gave him a check for $2,000. Stephen was the witness. Now, let's go to the DA's office, the lawyer said, putting the papers in his briefcase. The three of us went in Stephen's car. The DA's office was in another part of the city. It took us 40 minutes to get there with traffic. Inside, there were a lot of people. People waiting, people crying, people with looks of tragedy on their faces. I guess I looked tragic too. The lawyer spoke with an agent from the DA's office. He explained the case. She had us coming into a cubicle. She asked me a lot of questions. When did it happen? How did it happen? What documents did I have? How much money was stolen? I told her everything. From the beginning. From when Lucy died and I gave Daniel the power of attorney. From when he started taking money. From when he told me he sold the house. Everything. She typed on her computer. Typed fast. When I finished, she printed several papers. Mr. Miller, I am filing a complaint for fraud and breach of trust against Daniel Miller. With the evidence you've presented, there are sufficient grounds to open an investigation. We will call him in for questioning. We will review his bank accounts. We will see where that money went. I signed the complaint, with a shaky hand, but a firm decision. How long does this take? I asked. It depends. It could be weeks. It could be months. But with the evidence you have, the case is solid. We left the DA's office. It was almost 3 in the afternoon. I hadn't eaten. My stomach was growling, but I felt something stronger than hunger. I felt like I was finally doing something, that I wasn't a victim, that I was a man fighting for what was his. Stephen invited us to get tacos. We went to a stand he knew. I ate 3 pork tacos. They were good. They tasted like victory. Small, but victory. Now what? I asked the lawyer as we ate. Now we wait. In a few days, Daniel will be notified that there's a complaint against him. That's when it's going to get good. He will come looking for you. He will try to get you to drop the complaint. He'll promise you things. He'll threaten you. You must not give in. Do you understand? No matter what he says, no matter what he promises, do not drop the complaint. I won't. Good. Because if you drop the complaint, he wins, and you lose everything. We finished eating. Stephen drove me back to my house. The lawyer left in his car. I went into the house. I felt tired, exhausted, but satisfied. I sat in the armchair. I picked up the photo of Lucy from the small table. "Well, honey," I told her. "I did it. I filed the complaint. The fight has started. I don't know how this is going to end, but I'm not going to back down. I promise you." The photo didn't answer, but I felt she was proud. I slept better that night. Still worried, but with a clear conscience. I had done the right thing, even though it hurt, even though it was against my own son. I had done the right thing. And now, all I could do was wait. 5 days passed. 5 days of waiting, of nerves, of wondering if I had done the right thing. Sarah came every day. She brought food, kept me company. I told her what I had done. At first, she was silent. Then she hugged me and cried, "You did the right thing, Dad. Daniel brought this on himself." Michael called, too. I told him. He sighed on the other end of the line. "Dad, I support you, but be careful. Daniel is going to be furious." I knew. I was prepared. Or so I thought. Friday morning, I was drinking coffee in the kitchen when I heard the truck. That powerful engine sound I knew. It parked hard. The door slammed. The footsteps were fast, furious. Someone banged on the door. They didn't knock. They banged, like they wanted to break it down. "Open up, Dad! Open this damn door!" I took a deep breath. I put down my coffee mug. I walked slowly to the door. I opened it. Daniel was there. But it wasn't the Daniel in the suit and expensive glasses. It was a different Daniel. Disheveled, unshaven, with red eyes, with a look of hatred I had never seen. "What did you do, Dad? What the hell did you do?" he shouted, pushing his way in. He had a paper in his hand. He was waving it. "I got a summons. A damn summons from the DA's office. They say you reported me for fraud." "That's right. I did." "Are you crazy? I'm your son. Your son, Dad. A son doesn't steal from his father. A son doesn't sell his father's house without telling him. A son doesn't try to put him in a nursing home to keep everything. I didn't steal from you. That money was to be managed, to be invested for you. Then where is it? Show me where you invested $40,000. Show me the papers, the investments, anything." Daniel was silent. He clenched his jaw. "You can't?" "Of course you can't. Because you spent that money. On your truck, on your expensive clothes, on your rich life, with my money. It was my inheritance. I deserved it. It wasn't your inheritance. It was my savings, from my work, from my life, and I didn't give it to you. You stole it from me." Daniel took a step toward me, threatening. I didn't move. I wasn't afraid of him anymore. Or maybe I was, but I wasn't going to show it. "You are going to drop that complaint. Today, we are going to the DA's office together, and you're going to say it was a misunderstanding, that everything is settled. I'm not dropping anything. Dad, you don't know what you're doing. If this continues, I could go to jail. Do you understand? Jail! Is that what you want? To see your son in jail? I want justice. If that means you go to jail, then you'll go. You're senile. You're crazy. This is exactly why you need to be in a home, so you don't make stupid decisions like this. The only stupid decision I made was trusting you." Daniel looked at me with so much hatred, I thought he was going to hit me. I saw him clench his fists, how he was breathing heavily. But he didn't touch me. He knew if he touched me, it would make everything worse. "You know what, you stubborn old man? Fine, do what you want. But you are going to regret this. I'm going to hire the best lawyer in the state. I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to win. And when I win, I'm going to put you in the worst nursing home I can find, one where Sarah and nobody else can visit you, where you can rot alone. Threaten me all you want, Daniel. You don't scare me anymore. It's not a threat. It's a promise." He turned around, walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned. "One last thing. Mom would be so disappointed in you. Destroying your own family, sending your son to jail. She never would have done that." Those words. They hurt more than all the others. because I knew he was right about one thing. Lucy would have suffered so much through all this. But I also knew Lucy would have been more disappointed in Daniel, in what he had become. Your mother would be disappointed in both of us, in me, for not raising you better, and in you, for becoming this. Daniel left, slamming the door. The house shook. I heard the truck start. The tires squealed. He was gone. I stood there, shaking, not from fear, from anger, from sadness, from everything at once. I went to the armchair. I sat down. My hands were trembling. The phone rang. It was Sarah. "Dad, are you okay? Daniel just called me. He's furious. He told me you reported him, that he could go to jail." "It's true, honey. I reported him." "Dad, I understand why you did it. But be careful. Daniel is out of control. We don't know what he's capable of. He already came. He already threatened me. He already left." "Did he do anything to you? Did he touch you?" "No. He just yelled. Just threatened." "I'm on my way. Give me 20 minutes. "You don't have to, honey. I'm fine." "I'm coming anyway." She hung up. I held the phone in my hand. I looked around the house. My house that I had fought so hard to keep. My house that now felt like a battlefield. Had I done the right thing? Or had I just made everything worse? I didn't know. But there was no turning back now. The phone rang again. An unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Frank Miller?" "Yes, this is he." "This is Mr. Morales' office. I'm calling to inform you that Daniel Miller has just filed a legal response. He is countersuing. He claims you have senile dementia, and that the complaint is invalid because you are not mentally competent." There it was. The counterattack. Fast and dirty. And now what happens? The lawyer says not to worry, that we expected this, that you have an appointment tomorrow with a forensic psychologist. He's going to evaluate you. He will certify that you are perfectly sane. With that, we'll dismantle his argument. "What time?" 10 in the morning, at Dr. Ramirez's office. I'll text you the address. "I'll be there." I hung up. Sarah arrived. She ran in, hugged me. "Dad, everything is going to be okay. I promise." I wished I had her certainty, because I no longer knew what was going to happen. I only knew that the war had truly begun, and that only one of us was going to win. Saturday morning, Sarah picked me up. We went together to Dr. Ramirez's office. It was a medical building in a modern part of the city. Everything was clean, white. It smelled like a hospital. Dr. Ramirez was a serious man, with a gray beard. He asked me a lot of questions. About my life, about my family, about what I remembered. He had me do tests, draw things, repeat numbers, solve problems. I felt like a kid in school, but I did it all, with patience, calmly. After 2 hours, he finished. "Mr. Miller, you are perfectly sane. Your memory is fine for your age. Your reasoning ability is excellent. There is no sign of dementia or significant cognitive decline. I will write my report and send it to Mr. Morales." I left there feeling calmer. Sarah hugged me. "See, Dad? You're fine. Daniel won't be able to win with his lies." 2 weeks passed. Weeks of anxiety. Mr. Morales called me every 2 days with updates. The investigation against Daniel was moving forward. The DA's office had checked his accounts. They found that all the money he took from my account went to his personal expenses, to his truck, to trips, to expensive restaurants, to nothing that had to do with me. They had also spoken with the buyers of the house. They didn't know about the life estate. Daniel had never mentioned it. They were furious. They were threatening to sue Daniel for fraud, too. Everything was collapsing for him. And I didn't feel joy. You just felt sad. Sad that my son had come to this. The lawyer called me to his office on a Wednesday. When I arrived, he had a smile on his face. "Mr. Miller, I have good news. Daniel has agreed to a settlement." "What kind of settlement?" "He drops the incompetence lawsuit against you. He returns all the money he took from your account, the $40,000. He cancels the sale of the house, and you get the full property back in your name. In exchange, you drop the criminal complaint." I was quiet, processing. And if I don't accept, then we continue with the trial. He will probably go to jail, but that could take years, and you will have to be testifying, going to hearings, fighting. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Lucy, about what she would have wanted. I thought about Daniel as a boy, the son he was, before he became this. I thought about myself, about what I had left of my life. If I wanted to spend it fighting in courtrooms, I accept the settlement, but with one more condition, which is that Daniel apologize to me, face to face, and that he promise not to come near me again unless he comes truly repentant. The lawyer nodded. I will communicate that to his attorney. 2 days later, they summoned me to Daniel's lawyer's office, at Luxurious Place, with a view of the city. Daniel was there, sitting, in his suit, but he didn't look arrogant anymore. He looked tired, defeated. I sat across from him. The lawyers were on either side. Mr. Miller, Daniel's lawyer began, my client agrees to the terms. He will return the money. He will cancel the sale. He will transfer the property back to your name. You're missing something, I said, looking at Daniel. Daniel clenched his jaw. He looked at me. He finally looked at me without hatred, just with shame. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I got carried away by greed, by wanting to have more. I thought I deserved it, that I had done enough for you two. But I was wrong. It was all wrong. I shouldn't have sold the house. I shouldn't have taken the money. I shouldn't have treated you the way I did. They weren't perfect words, but they sounded sincere, or at least, more sincere than anything he had said to me in months. Are you really sorry? Or are you just sorry you lost? Danielle looked down. Both. I'm sorry because I lost, but I'm also sorry because I know I hurt you. And that's unforgivable. He was right. It was unforgivable. But I also couldn't spend the rest of my life with hate in my heart. I accept your apology, but I don't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe never. Time will tell. Daniel nodded. He knew he couldn't ask for more. We signed the papers. All the papers. The agreement. The return of the money. The transfer of the house. Everything. When we finished, Daniel stood up. He extended his hand. I looked at it. For a moment, I thought about not taking it, but I took it. A cold, formal handshake. Without love, but without hate. Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, Daniel. He left. I stayed with Mr. Morales. You did the right thing, Mr. Miller. I hope so. A month passed. The money appeared in my account. The house was back in my name, with new deeds. Clean. No powers of attorney. No tricks. Sarah came to celebrate. She brought a cake, her daughters. We had a little party in the living room. In my living room. In my house. That was now completely mine. Michael called from Houston. He congratulated me, told me he was proud of me. Daniel didn't call. He didn't come. I heard nothing from him. And that was fine. One afternoon, I was in the yard, watering Lucy's plants. The geraniums were blooming. Red. Beautiful. Just how she liked them. You see, honey? I said to the plant, as if she could hear me. I didn't let him. I fought. I won. The house is still ours. And I'm still here, still standing. The wind blew softly. The flowers swayed. And I felt like she was telling me I had done well. I sat in the plastic chair under the mango tree. I looked at my house, the walls I painted, the windows I fixed, the yard I cared for. It was all still there. It was all still mine. I lost a son along the way. That hurt. It hurt every day. But I gained something more important. I gained my dignity. I gained my freedom. I gained the right to live my final years in peace, in my house, with my memories. And that, at the end of the day, was worth more than anything. I closed my eyes. The sun warmed my face. The birds were singing. Life went on. And I was going on too. Still here. Still fighting. Still alive. Because we old folks, we aren't fools. We aren't weak. And when they push us, we push back. With everything we have. And sometimes, just sometimes, we win. And you know what? If someone does something similar to you, if someone betrays you, if someone thinks that just because you're older, you don't count, remember my story. Fight. Don't give up. Because as long as you have breath, you have the right to defend what's yours. Now, you tell me, what would you have done in my place? Would you have stayed quiet? Or would you have fought? And hey, share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me, what city are you listening from? I'd like to know that my story traveled far, that it served a purpose, that someone else learned, that it's never too late for justice.